Now on CoastTV News.
Bright lights in Ocean City, what one house does for Halloween each year to bring the neighborhood together. Charging ahead, Delaware's multi-million-dollar plan for new electric vehicle chargers. And breaking the record, 35 days without rain, how this dry spell is affecting life along the coast.
Now, with that record-setting drought, we are now placed under a severe drought situation throughout not only Sussex County, but now it encompasses the entire state.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
Trick-or-treating and dressing up might be all over, but the celebration of Halloween, it's still happening for one festive house in Ocean City. Good evening. I'm Christina DeRobertis. Welcome to CoastTV News at 11. We begin tonight at the Cane Woods development in Ocean City. Just when you thought Halloween was over, the fun is still going on. One house in Ocean City brought the bright views with a light show they put on every year in the days leading up to Halloween and a few days after. As CoastTV News reporter Brendan Conroy shows us, those who stop by, they still can't get enough.
Flashing lights, glowing ghosts, bright signs, and talking pumpkins?
Prepare to be amazed, spooked, and amused with our show.
That's what you could see in Ocean City Friday, as one house in the Cane Woods neighborhood puts on a light show each year for people to drive by and see. One couple says it's great for the neighborhood and the community.
It's a great gathering spot. A lot of good friends and friendships are made here because of that light show.
They think people should come visit no matter where they are from.
It doesn't matter where you live. If you're from Salisbury or Lewis, come on down. It's worth the drive.
It's Jess Iacona and her husband Mark who create the light show each holiday.
It's indescribable, honestly. I mean, it started out as a hobby during COVID, and it turned into a passion. And it's actually, I can't believe other people love it like we love it.
While Halloween is only a one-day event, Jess and Mark like to keep the scary fun going even after all the trick-or-treating is over. And you can expect a holiday light show here come December. Cars have been lining up all throughout the streets, and people have been walking by since the very start of the show. And after talking with neighbors and seeing their reactions, it's easy to tell that this is a tradition they don't want to end anytime soon. In Ocean City, Brendan Conroy, CoastTV News.
Looks like a lot of fun. Thanks to Brendan for that. Now to a story we've been covering for weeks, the drought on Delmarva. It has been 35 days without measurable rain, and it's a new record. It's taking a toll on all areas across the peninsula, and as CoastTV reporter Zakia Jennings shows us, she shows us how farmers are working overtime now to reduce damage, not just for this year, but for the next growing season.
Dripping water under a 3-year-old tree. That's something that Joshua Nash and his business partner with Nash Veggies didn't think they would have to do during the fall. But with a record-breaking drought reaching day 35, Nash is left with no choice.
Trees, they get stressed. This time of year, they're losing leaves.
And it's not just the trees that are struggling. Nash himself says the dry weather conditions are even causing him to feel cold-like symptoms from the dust. Meanwhile, Don Hallowell with Don's Tree Farm says he's starting to provide extra care to trees that he thought were okay.
We'll water this block of trees. Tonight, it'll run all night long. Tomorrow, we'll water this side. Extreme drought conditions call for extreme measures to keep crops watered and businesses alive as we march through the fall.
Hallowell says that the buds on this tree here are perfect, and this is what he's looking for on other trees for next season's growth. And even though this tree may be 4 or 5 years old, by the time the weekend is over, he's pretty sure he's still going to have to water it due to this drought. In Greenwood, I'm Zakia Jennings, CoastTV News.
One ripple effect of this drought, the state fire marshal has put a temporary ban on fireworks, and now PETA, the animal rights group, wants that ban to be permanent. PETA says the explosions caused by fireworks are terrifying for animals and can even prove deadly, but some people with pets say they're not too worried.
It's twice a year we have fireworks. New Year's Eve, Christmas, some people will put fireworks off. I mean, you know, but if they're doing it on their own property, how is that hurting anyone? Because they're responsible for their own property.
In a letter to the fire marshal, PETA is hoping the state can opt for some alternative celebrations instead of fireworks. And this brings us right into our Coast TV poll. We want to know, what is the most noticeable drought effect in your area? Let's take a look at the updated results from earlier this evening, and it looks like the results haven't changed too much. People still saying that brown lawns are the most noticeable drought effect. A few saying low water levels and water restrictions. But we still want to know what you think. So if you haven't voted yet, you can do that on CoastTV.com or on our mobile app, and you can see those updated results online. We're going to take a live look outside now into the Ocean City area and turn things over to our First Alert Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams for a look at the weather.
So first and foremost, we have the record-breaking drought for the 35 consecutive days. Fire alerts are very active, major concerns for possible grass fires, and unfortunately, we might see a few showers on Thursday, and there's no guarantee of that. Now, here's where we stand right now. We haven't had any measurable precipitation since the 27th of September, so we're at 35 days and counting. The old record was actually in 2001. We are right now officially under a severe drought for all of Sussex now and just about all of Kent County at this point. Take a look at the rainfall for this month. You see how we're down there, we're exceptionally dry. We have yet to record any precipitation, and it doesn't look like it's going to change anytime soon.
New at 11, the electrical vehicle initiative is growing in Delaware. A $21.5 million project would add up to 10 electric vehicle chargers along major routes. DENREC and DelDOT officials say there's been a major increase in electric vehicles being registered in the state, and as of now, 3 are planned for Kent County and 4 in Sussex County. They're all designated to go along routes 13, 113, and 1 here in Delaware. And Delaware courts are warning about an uptick in phone scams. Authorities say scammers are posing as court officials, demanding cash for fake fines or arrest warrants. Recently, they've sent texts with bogus arrest orders. And the courts are reminding people courts will never ask for immediate payments or direct you to unofficial locations. If you receive a suspicious call, you should hang up and contact local police. Ocean City is bucking back against Mother Nature in bold fashion. The town has lined the beach with brightly colored barriers to keep sand off the boardwalk. People are happy the town is taking the issue seriously. They just wish officials picked a different color. Randy Austin says he's sure these barriers, which are filled with water to keep them steady, are much better at keeping the sand at bay, but he does wish they blended in a little better.
But if they could maybe just, make the color a little bit different to blend into the scenery a little bit, because it sort of takes away from the boardwalk,
City Manager Terry McGeehan says they went with orange because that's the color they come in, since they are used in construction. Now, an election update. Polls show that Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump are in a tight race. And while Harris has an advantage with women voters, Trump holds an advantage with men. Those polls come as remarks about women at Trump's events are receiving a lot of attention. Julia Benbrook has details on this gender divide.
While former President Donald Trump has spent a lot of his time on the campaign trail working to reach young men, Vice President Kamala Harris has made reproductive rights, an issue that of course impacts women directly, central to her campaign. And polling shows that there is a gender gap when it comes to their supporters.
In the final sprint toward Election Day, polling shows a gender divide. While former President Donald Trump holds an advantage with men, Vice President Kamala Harris has a similar lead when it comes to women voters. Trump's one-time primary rival, Nikki Haley, who endorsed him after dropping out of the race, is warning his campaign to be careful with how they speak about women.
You've got affiliated PACs that are doing commercials about calling Kamala the C word, or you had speakers at Madison Square Gardens, referring to her and her pimps. That is not the way to win women.
During a rally this week, the former president doubled down on a line about protecting women. A message he said his advisors warned against using.
They pay these guys a lot of money, can you believe it? I said, well, I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. I'm going to protect them.
Harris has made issues that impact women, like reproductive freedom, central to her campaign, and pushed back against Trump's claim he would serve as a, quote, protector.
It actually is, I think, very offensive to women in terms of not understanding their agency, their authority, their right, and their ability to make decisions about their own lives, including their own bodies.
The Harris campaign recently launched new ads targeting men in battleground states, continuing outreach as they work to close the deficit she faces with male voters.
The Harris campaign also argues that reproductive freedom should be a top priority for male voters as well, because of the impact it could have on the lives of the women in their lives. Reporting at the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
We still have more news to get to tonight. Still ahead, we look at this year's race for Delaware State House District 14. But first, it's Friday, so your cool things to do are up next.
As we continue to monitor this drought situation, we're at a new record now. It was down 2001 for the last time. Then you'd have to go back to 95, 65, and 2012. We'll update you on this drought coming up.
We're bringing bright hope to Delaware by creating opportunity. As Secretary of Labor, I focused on preparing the workforce of tomorrow. And in Congress, I've worked to strengthen career and technical education. Jobs that might not require a four-year college degree, but do require skills. With jobs like these. Together, we can build the workforce of today and tomorrow. I'm Lisa Blunt Rochester, and I approve this message because our opportunities should be limitless.
Be charmed by Lewis.
Visit our unique shops and restaurants.
The Brush Factory is the area's premier destination for the unique and unusual for home, garden, and you. Come support our 60-plus local merchants and artists.
Welcome to Lewis Brewing Company, your new local microbrewery. Enjoy fresh craft beers and a great local spot to gather and unwind.
We can't wait to serve you.
Savor the best of the season with fresh local seafood, farm-to-table produce, and well-aged prime Angus beef.
At Harvest Tide over the bridge in Lewis.
Lots to do and see.
In Lewis.
On one hand, of course, dry weather helps us out with the beautiful picturesque aspects of the fall, but the problem comes in when you have 35 straight days of no rain, and we're still counting. So we've set some unfortunate records at this point. So desperately dry conditions are in place. We haven't seen any rain since the end of September. Burn bands are very active, dangerously dry conditions, particularly to our north and to our northwest. And then drought continues. We're at 35 days and counting. And to be honest, we may actually crack 40 straight days of no precipitation. We had a shot today and we missed our shot. And then on top of that, look at how much we've been warmer than usual. See, this is near normal right here. All these dots that are above, and you see all the red is reflective of just how much warmer we've been. Only 2 days were we at normal or below normal. So we're talking about higher temperatures and winds and unusually dry conditions make for a bad combination. Now, over the weekend, we're going to start cooling down to closer to norm for this time of the year as far as temperatures are concerned. But we're looking at concerns for very gusty winds across a good portion of the Delmarva Peninsula with the cold front pushing through. But this cold front's not providing us with any opportunity for precipitation. So we're in a severe drought mode right now throughout all of Sussex. Now, this includes not only just Sussex, but Kent, Newcastle, the entire state. And now it's bleeding over towards the Salisbury area. That's just how severe it's been. Think about this. We're searching for rain here. I mean, we're talking about we didn't get a drop of rain for the month of October. And now that we're in November, we're talking about 4 inches of rain shy of that. And then when you take a look at that for the entire year, we're 6 3/4, getting close to 7 inches shy for the year as far as the lack of rain. And where do we stand right now? Listen, Saturday, a 4% chance of rain, 5, 6, 8, 12% chance of rain. we're not going to see a chance of rain really develop until maybe Thursday. We have to project to our 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, and we'll finally go back to a normal pattern, but that's after 6 to 10 days. So for Saturday, we're going to wake up with temperatures in the 60s, so it's going to be more of a fall-like day. 8 to 14 day projections. I'm just reaching as far as I can to see when will the pattern really change. We're going to go back to normal by then, but in the meantime, in between time, we're not seeing much in the way of development, but temperatures are going to fall back to a frosty feeling 40s because winds will be pouring out of the north. So for tonight, 47 degrees, new clouds begin to arrive. A few clouds begin to arrive. We're looking at 64 for tomorrow, and then on Sunday, sunshine and 61 degrees, a little bit cooler on Sunday. By the way, your election day forecast, 71 or 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, we're looking at 76, and we'll stay in the 70s and 60s. So at least the lack of rain will help with the poll turnout, so the rain won't discourage anybody from voting. Finally, here's a look at your Paul Davis Restoration Home Remodeling extended forecast.
Well, the clocks turn back Sunday morning, which means you get an extra hour of weekend. So some more time for some of these cool things. On Saturday, you can hit Cape Henlopen High School for the 55 Plus Expo. Delaware Resorts will host the 8th Annual Expo from 9 to 4. You can get free health screenings from BB Health and make a difference and donate some blood while you're there. And now that it's officially November, it's time to start worrying about holiday shopping, but don't stress. You can get a head start this weekend at Tanger Outlet Seaside. From 11 to 4, you can find one-of-a-kind gifts for the people you love, with more than 50 local artists, boutiques, and small businesses. Over in Millsboro, there's a craft fair happening Saturday. It's at the Peninsula Lakes Clubhouse, and more than 25 vendors and food trucks will be there. And the Delaware Renaissance Fair continues on Saturday and Sunday. It's Fantasy Weekend. There's music, magic, and costume contests for all ages. Last, you can learn how to make one of these beautiful sea glass Christmas trees that you see on your screen. The Delaware Inland Bays Garden Center is having a workshop in Frankfort on Saturday and will provide supplies. For event details and tickets, just head to CoastTV.com and click on Cool Things to Do.
Here at North Bay Marina, we know that boaters have the most fun.
As a math teacher, Matt Meyer knows that Delaware's tax system isn't adding up. So he has a plan to fix it. Give middle-class families a tax cut, invest in schools, and lower costs. But Mike Ramone's plan gives tax breaks to the ultra-rich, which could cut education by nearly $175 million. Matt Meyer knows these numbers don't add up. He'll make state taxes fair so families can get ahead. Vote Matt Meyer for governor.
In 1925, a simple bank ledger began journaling the transactions of life in Willards, Maryland. New houses, barns, and farm equipment. Growing families and businesses both big and small. A record through time of hardship and prosperity. 100 years ago, the founding of the Farmers Bank of Willards was vital to the town. 100 years later, banking has changed, but the Farmers Bank remains steadfast in its original mission, keeping and reinvesting millions of dollars right here for the benefit of our communities.
Hello everyone, my name is Emma Ludwicki. I'm Paige Ludwicki. And our stepdad, Mike Simpler, is running for the 14th District State Representative of Delaware. We believe that Mike will help to preserve the coastal Sussex County we all know and love.
Mike has always been the kind of person who puts others first.
He's tirelessly served as president of the fire department.
He understands the real issues people face here, and he's got practical ideas to help solve them. He's not just a great stepdad, he's one of the best people I know. Join us in supporting Mike Simpler for State Representative of the 14th District. Thank you.
As a Prince George's County police officer under Angela Also-Brooks, here's what you should know. Also-Brooks wanted to remove security from our schools and cut police funding. She released violent criminals and drug dealers. Murders have doubled, carjackings are up 500%. She would abolish cash bail, letting more violent criminals go free. Larry Hogan, he has our backs, and that's why Maryland police unanimously endorsed him.
Join our team by donating today.
I'm Larry Hogan, and I approve this message.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
It has long been one of the safest state house seats for Delaware Democrats. But as Coast TV News anchor Matt Pensick shows us, this year's race for District 14 pits two candidates who are both making their first run at public office.
The new, when the Delaware General Assembly convenes in January 2025, will be the representative from State House District 14. The question is whether the seat will remain in Democratic hands, or could we see a pickup by the Republicans if Rehoboth Beach Volunteer Fire Company President Mike Simpler pulls off the win. Simpler says he is running to be a fiscal watchdog.
The money side, I'd hope to see how it works exactly in Dover to where they're spending it, where they're pushing it to.
The current representative is the former Speaker of the House, Pete Schwarzkopf. The announcement he would step down after this term created the open seat election. Democratic primary winner Claire Snyder Hall recently had served as the executive director for the progressive organization Common Cause Delaware. And on that September 10th election night, she claimed her win was the signal of a new shift in the district.
We're at a period in our larger society where we are transitioning. You know, the last of the baby boomers are starting to retire. And so I feel like I'm part of that change, you know, a Gen X candidate taking her spot. And it's also, of course, with the changes that have happened in society with transitions is social media.
It's a diversity change to the area. It's where people are coming in here from out of state, from Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, wherever. They're coming here and they're bringing all the things that they think they should have here and we don't have here.
Both are taking their respective parties' positions when it comes to the issue of the state's big push to electric vehicles and the ban of new car sales by 2035.
I'm against banning all gas car sales. I think there should be an equal balance as the market pushes it. Right now we don't have enough generation to provide stable electric, even to run the pumps that you need to pump the sand up on the beach.
I think that, you know, the market, people that sell products in our market economy, they adapt to market conditions. And so I think it's exciting to have incentives to have car dealers sell clean cars.
1980 was the last time Delaware State House seat 14 was won by a Republican. Let's fast forward to now, 2024, and the Democrats have a voter registration edge of over 6,000 in this district, and that is the obstacle Mike Simpler must overcome. It's also what Claire Snyder Hall is banking on in this election. For CoastTV News, I'm Matt Pensick.
Early voting is still underway, and here are some of the stats as of this morning from the Delaware Department of Elections. All across Delaware, the grand total of early voters is 187,338 people. So far in Sussex County, just over 73,000 have participated in early voting, and on top of that, almost 12,000 people have voted through absentee ballots. That makes the total of Sussex County voters 85,158 people. By the way, be sure to tune into Coast TV News on election night for coverage of all of the key elections that will impact us here on Delmarva. And sticking with election news, you're about to meet a Virginia woman who is close to 90 years old and still working the polls. She's been doing it almost her entire life. Michelle Marsh has the story.
Thank you so much for coming.
This election day, 89-year-old Pauline Gerhardt is working her 85th election. She's the county's longest-serving election officer.
I enjoy helping people.
She's a familiar face for many, greeting voters as they arrive and sending them home with a small token to remember election 2024.
They really seem to look forward to seeing you to get that sticker.
I have been so happy to see so many people from other years.
When did your passion for voting begin?
When I was probably 5, I went with my mother, and I thought it was such fun.
That mother-daughter tradition would continue.
Well, I knew it was sort of inevitable that I would become an election officer just because Mother instilled in all of her children that it's so very important to serve your community.
Her daughter, Beth Gerhardt, is the chief election officer at her precinct.
The very first election that I served in was the 1996 election, and Mom was chief up at our local precinct, and several officers, for whatever reason, did not show up that day. And she called the county, and they said, just find somebody that you trust to fill in. And so she nabbed me.
But if you think Pauline is ready to retire after this year's election, think again.
How much longer do you think you'll be doing this?
Well, until I'm pulling the dirt over.
Still ahead tonight, don't lose sleep over the time change. Daylight saving time is hitting us this weekend. What doctors say that means for your health.
Here's a look at your golf forecast as you're lining up your putt. Remember, the greens have been dry, running real fast. Fair conditions, limited cloud cover, but cooler because a high of only 63 degrees.
Listen to Big 107.7, Delmarva's classic rock station.
My dad, Mike Ramone, is a different kind of public servant. I know what you're thinking. Yeah, right. But I know from my own experience how much he cares about everyone. He's a great father and grandfather. You can see how much their futures matter to him. And he has the same passion for your kids' future. He's focused on fixing our schools and getting teachers and students the resources they need. What I can promise is he'll be a great governor for all of Delaware.
All right, guys, we're going to Jason's for the game this week. It's going to be dark, musty, and cramped, but we got this. Bring it in. 1, 2, 3. Man, I totally forgot you got a new show home.
Yeah, we moved in a few months ago. Wait, where'd everyone go?
The snack table is huge.
I can't tell if I'm inside or outside.
Oh yeah, that's fresh.
Get a show home, they said. All of your friends will want to come over to the game, they said.
A legacy is earned, built on years of trust and reliability. To build the best vehicles with the best value. Right now, get a Tundra with low 3.99% APR.
This is my legacy.
Toyota, let's go places.
Be charmed by Lewis.
Visit our unique shops and restaurants.
Make the season unforgettable with a stunning gift from Conversation Piece Jewelers. From engagements to milestones, every piece tells a story.
Villa Sorrento at 5 Points. Join us for our fall and winter specials. Mambo Italiano. That's a nice.
Beautiful Nassau Valley Vineyards. The perfect place for tours, tastings, and impeccable events. Making award-winning Delaware wines for 31 years.
Lots to do and see.
In Lewis.
We know Maryland. And we know Angela Alsobrooks is the right choice for Senate.
Angela is the kind of partner I need.
You have a chance to send a leader to the Senate who will always put you first.
She will fight to lower costs and create opportunity.
Control of the Senate could come down to Maryland.
I'm counting on you to support my friend, Angela Alsobrooks.
I'm Angela Alsobrooks. I approve this message. Now let's get to work.
In regional news tonight, get ready for some more free parking in downtown Salisbury. The city says beginning Monday, downtown on-street parking will be free for the first 2 hours. This applies to more than 250 spots. Salisbury's Economic Development Manager, Derek Jarman, says the goal is to help downtown businesses.
It's exciting news for businesses because it is an open line between our clientele, our customers, and our direct storefronts in those businesses.
The city says parking kiosks in the downtown area will be removed or covered. Delaware State Police have arrested 51-year-old Leslie Riggleman Jr. of Seaford for felony DUI, gun, and drug charges. On October 29th, troopers found him unconscious in a car on the Woodland Ferry. After showing signs of impairment, he was taken into custody. Officers discovered heroin, drug paraphernalia, and a shotgun in his vehicle. Riggleman has 2 prior DUI convictions. And don't forget to turn your clocks back an hour this weekend. The daylight savings time ends. Some people may feel like they gain an extra hour of sleep, but experts say many times we actually lose sleep during the time change. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has tips that can help the whole family.
It's time to fall back. Daylight saving time ends at 2 a.m. Sunday morning, so turn your clocks back an hour.
Anytime there's a big time change, we tend to lose sleep or experience lower quality sleep.
Dr. Chafin Watkins Hart with National Jewish Health says the time change can be hard on everyone, but especially children, older adults, and early birds who avoid going to bed later.
We see higher rates of workplace safety accidents per se in the fall when people become sleep deprived because they've stayed up later but woke up at the same time. We also see a lot of mood changes and higher rates of depression.
To help the whole family get enough Z's, Hart says to start delaying meal times and bedtime by about 15 to 30 minutes leading up to the time change. If you're on a device before bed, make sure the blue light filter is on. Have a dark, cool room to promote quality sleep. Avoid long naps during the day. Expose yourself to light when it's time to wake up. And don't stay up too late the couple of nights before. Hart says this is especially important for children.
They're not going to sleep in the morning, and then they'll be more sleep deprived and more tired the following night.
Hart says children will also need to get out and play during the days before and after the time change so their bodies are ready for sleep. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Football is back on Coast TV this weekend. You should tune in for this on Sunday. It's the Colts versus the Vikings. Coverage starts at 7 p.m. here on Coast TV, and stay with us for hyper-local news after.
Late Night with Seth Meyers. Late nights on Coast TV.
Prince George's County politician Angela Alsobrooks may live near D.C., but she'd bring tons of baggage. Nearly 2 decades of illegal tax breaks, $59,000 in back taxes, and thousands in unpaid bills. A sweetheart tax deal. Typical politician. Slumlord Alsobrooks? Records show she was caught operating an illegal rental property. With so much baggage, how can we trust Alsobrooks to represent us? Maryland's Future is responsible for the content of this advertising.
The world's #1 selling farm tractor. Easy to operate and more powerful than your average tractor. Mahindra tractors. Push more, pull more, lift more. With more torque and lower engine maintenance, Mahindra tractors are rugged and tough. We know how much you love your land, so we want you to love your tractor. Get your next Mahindra tractor today. Southern States of Milford, improving farming and improving life. Rooted since 1948.
At Atlantic General Hospital, we've been busy. Busy expanding healthcare services that are second to none in our region. From cancer care and women's health services to orthopedics, gastroenterology, and more, we provide advanced health technologies delivered by top providers. Expert care every day. It's what you can count on from Atlantic General Hospital.
Hi, I'm Kim Hoey-Stevenson, candidate for Delaware's 6th Senate District. I'm running to be a voice for our community and put people over politics. I'm committed to working in a bipartisan way to protect our open spaces, elevate our education system, and ensure government transparency. From clean water and fresh air to quality education and a thriving economy, we all want the best for coastal Sussex. I'm ready to work hard to make it happen. On Election Day, vote Kim Hoey-Stevenson. Let's build a brighter future for coastal Sussex together. Paid for by friends from Kim Hoey-Stevenson.
Be charmed by Lewis.
Visit our unique shops and restaurants.
Lewis Gourmet and Puzzles, 30 years supporting the community. Eat extraordinary with local and global specialty foods and inspire your brain with jigsaws and more.
Make the season sparkle with fresh blooms from Floral Inspirations. We've got plants, festive decor, and a gift for everyone.
Come in for the smell of it.
Harbor Restaurant for canal front dining. Great waterfront views and fabulous food in downtown Lewis.
Lots to do and see
in Lewis.
So first of all, just a reminder, we're in the midst of severe drought throughout all of Sussex, but not just Sussex, it includes all of Delaware. Severe drought to moderate drought for the entire Delmarva Peninsula. Our umbrella giveaway winner, by the way, is Susan Brashure. Congratulations in Laurel. Keep up with your forecast by calling our weather line at 443-880-9100. Your forecast is just a call away, sponsored by the law offices of Baird, Mandales, Brockstead, and Federico. And finally, here's a look at your Paul Davis Restoration Home Remodeling exclusive 10-day forecast. Remember, the clocks fall back over the weekend, and we have good weather for Election Day, and watch out for finally maybe a chance of rain by Thursday.
All right, thanks, Paul, and thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News at 11. For more news and local weather, you can download our Coast TV News app. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, that's up next, and we'll see you tomorrow for Coast TV News at 6 p.m. Have a great Friday night.